Before we continue with today's session, it is so important that we do an acknowledgement of traditional lands. Royal Roads University acknowledges that the campus is located on the traditional lands of the Cossacks, Esquimalt, and Lekwungen Songhees ancestors and families. It is with gratitude that we now learn and work here, where the past, present, and future of Indigenous and non-Indigenous students, faculty, and staff come together. Welcome. So to make sure everybody's in the right room today, today's session is on the Doctor of Business Administration, and we're going to be diving into all things about the program. And with me today, I have Dr. Hassan Wafai, who is the program head. We have Cody, who is a DBA student currently in the program. And my name is Emara Angus, and I'm an education specialist. We also have our knowledgeable enrollment team here monitoring the chat. So we have Tracy and I believe Alana as well here to answer any of your questions from the chat. And we also have Selena here as tech support behind the scenes. So if you need any support, you can reach out, direct message to Selena. Wonderful. So the agenda for today is get to know one another, and we're doing that right now. We're also going to do a brief overview of the Royal Roads University experience. We're going to talk about program-specific information. We're going to have a question and answer with our DBA student, Neil. We're going to go through the application process and requirements. And as I mentioned, questions throughout, and we're also going to leave a bit of time at the end to answer questions as well. How does that sound? Everybody can give me a thumbs up using the reaction feature if that sounds good to you. Awesome, thank you for doing that. Great. Awesome, I'm just looking at the chat and I see people are coming from Ghana. We have Nova Scotia, we have India, Peru. Oh, this is amazing. Okay, so where are we? We are located in Victoria, British Columbia, Canada. We are on Vancouver Island, and our closest big cities, just a ferry ride away, are Vancouver, which is here in Canada, or Seattle, which is over into the States. Both of them are a ferry ride away. And our top 3 industries in Victoria are advanced technology, tourism, and hospitality and education. And we are one of the mildest climates in Canada. So we're about 6 degrees Celsius in the winter, 25 degrees Celsius in summer. You can go hiking, surfing, bike rides almost any day of the year here. It's really a beautiful place to live. And yeah, when we get snow here, we don't even know what to do with it. It's not a common occurrence. So it's a really nice climate to come visit. And hopefully everybody here will get a chance to come out. So here's some images of our space. The top left you'll see is Hatley Castle. So we actually have a castle on campus here, and you might even recognize it from films such as Deadpool and X-Men. And on the top right, you'll see an image of a bridge. This is our Japanese gardens here on campus. We have a beautiful garden and actually a lot of hiking trails around campus. So it's easy to go for a nice lunchtime walk when you are here on campus. There's lots of places to escape and into nature. And the bottom left you'll see is a Esquimalt Lagoon. So we overlook this beautiful migratory bird sanctuary. And if you're standing at the top where the castle is and you look down, you can actually see the lagoon from there. And the bottom right is just an image to depict that we have been doing online learning for over 25 years here at Royal Roads. So it's not a new thing for us. And many of you are wondering kind of why explore Royal Roads University. And here at Royal Roads, we've been doing things differently from day one. We really believe in getting to know the individual fast. So you're never a student number here at Royal Roads. We get to know you. And as Hassan often refers to people in the DBA program as colleagues, and he'll be talking more about that later. And really that learning based on life, there's not that division between theory and practice. It's all integrated into the program, and you will be building connections for life. And I know Neil will be able to talk more about the connections he's making right now with his cohort. And as I mentioned, we were built differently from day one, and we'll talk more about that throughout today's session. And we're also a Changemaker campus. So the Ashoka U Changemaker Campus designation recognizes colleges and universities that have embedded social innovation as a core value. Here at Royal Roads, we believe in leading change and empowering others to lead change to create a more positive world. And now I'm so pleased to welcome up Dr. Hassan Wafai, who will be talking more about the program structure, and he is our program head of the DBA.
Emara, thank you very much. Always we start with positive tone. Thank you, Emara. Would like to talk a little bit about the program. First, I will introduce a program in general, go through the structure, and then we would like to introduce my colleague Neil Cody, who's here today. Thank you, Neil, for being here today. Okay, so let's dive in, ladies and gentlemen. What is the Doctor of Business Administration program, DBA program? DBA program, it's a doctoral program. It's not a PhD. It's actually something that's I would describe it more than a PhD. So let me introduce it first. DBA, Doctor of Business Administration, is unique to British Columbia and Canada. Why is it unique? Because normally DBA program is a course-based, it's a practice-oriented program. The DBA, Royal Road DBA program is a research-based doctoral program oriented to applied business management research. So it's a research-intensive program. In that sense, the program, it's similar to the PhD program. And it's the blended design of the program, that means the combination of online and on-campus allows a working professional to complete their doctorate while also working. So you don't need to put your work on hold in order to complete your doctorate. So, I would describe it, the most important unique feature in the program is that it's the hybrid design. The Royal Road DBA, it integrates the applied and professional orientation of professional doctorate, that professional DBA that you could find in Europe or in Austria and in the United States, with the rigor and quality of a conventional PhD program. So it's a combination between, or the way we would like to say it, it brings the best from PhD program and from a conventional DBA program. In that sense, it's a hybrid program. Next slide. Yes, thank you. So it's a 60 credit program, like any other doctoral program, a 60 credit program. It has a hybrid design. Now we know what's hybrid design. That is the combination between conventional PhD and the applied DBA. It focuses on knowledge production, meaning that during the program you will produce knowledge. That's what you require. What you are expected to do is to produce knowledge, not just to learn. The knowledge. The length of the program 4 to 5 years. It is, again, it's a cohort-based blended design. That means it's online and on campus. And it's a competency-based approach. It's a competency-based program. And as I'm explaining the program, please feel free to ask any question about the program. I'm going through this program very quickly, the feature of the program very quickly, but I'm very happy to expand on any aspect of the program as I'm talking about the program. The structure of the program, as also, yes, I see here, Tracy, but you put your question on the chat box if you wish, or just feel free to grab a mic and ask question. So the overall structure of the program, it has 3 phases. The first phase is the foundation phase, which is a course-based phase. It's 1 year course-based. You can see here, this is the first row at the top. Yes, there you go. You can see this is the first phase. It's a course-based phase where students do courses to prepare them to start their research. You see here the numbers or the words, MGMT 700, MGMT 705, 710, 711, 717, 712. All these are courses, DBA courses. So once the students finish their courses, they are ready to move to the next phase where they will start preparing their research. And that's the second phase where they will work with their doctoral supervisory committee on the candidacy exam, preparing for the final proposal, and start the ethical review process. Year 3 and year 4, where you start executing your research, collecting data and analyzing data and writing up. That's year 3 and 4. Now, we said this is the length of the program could go between 3 to 7 years. As you can see, normally we say that is 3.5 years. That's always say the normal. Some students take more, some students take less. I mean, all students need to complete the residencies, and we have, as you can see, 3 residencies here. The first residency, MGMT-A residency, that's the first year. And the second residency, it is the MGMT-P on the screen, you see it here. And the third residency, it's in the 4th year, the MGMT-C. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about the residency in a minute and what's residency. But this is the general overall structure of the program. So again, it's 3 phases. First phase is 1 year, second phase is 1 year, and third phase is 2 years on average, I would say that. Okay, so when you go to the website, what you see this structure, and this structure here, or this table, reflects what I talked about, the general structure. So as you can see, the year 1 foundations phase, and that's for the 2022. You can see the courses here, the MGMT 700, MGMT-A, the residency, MGMT 705, and so on. And you will see the start and end date of each of these courses. So now we talk about specific details of these courses. Year 2 research preparation phase, where you will do the candidacy exam, the prepare for the proposal, and work toward the dissertation. And year 3 and 4, it is the execution and writing phase. So total 60 credit here. So let me talk a little bit more about the overall structure again and how actually it works in practice. So you will start the program. You will do 6 courses. 2 of these courses about general management theories and concepts, and then you will do 3 courses about research design, research methodology, and the last course, we call it one-to-one course. You are going to work with an instructor to dive deep into the material that you are interested in. That's called the self-directed course. Once you finish these courses, then you are ready to start your research. And these courses are designed to help you start your research. As I noted, we have 3 residencies. The first residency is 2 weeks, the second residency is 1 week, and the third residency is also 1 week. The first residency 2-week residency, it's in the first year. The second residency in the second year, the third residency in the 4th year. Meaning that all the program is online. You will need to come to campus for the 3 residency, 2 week, 1 week, and 1 week. That's over 4 years. These residencies are not designed around courses. For those who did master program, I mean, in different university, they do have residency, and maybe they experience residency as course-based. They go to campus and they attend courses. It's not about courses. These residencies designed around workshops. It's a very much like a conference style residency. So you will come, you will attend workshop, you will run your own workshop, and you will have your own space on campus. You work with your colleague, you meet them, you talk with them, you meet faculty. So it's again, it's not about, well, I'm gonna sit in my class and I'm waiting for the instructor to come and give me all the wisdom. It's it's more on, I am colleague, I'm working with my colleagues toward advancing my research. So we describe these workshops, as you can read here, as disciplinary, interdisciplinary, multidisciplinary, knowledge-intensive workshops. Sounds a little bit complicated. Let me explain. Disciplinary workshop in your area, in your own discipline. So you are marketing, you're going to meet faculty member working in marketing. Interdisciplinary, when we talk about research, that all applied research is interdisciplinary, multidisciplinary, and knowledge intensive, where you will, it's not just like a soft skills kind of workshops. No, it's more on a research intensive kind of workshops. You will see colleagues who explaining to you their own research, their own literature review. So I would describe it as research-oriented workshop. Also, we will have a professional development workshops, for example, teaching workshops, meeting colleagues who've been in the industry, and the scholarly oriented workshop. It's about advancing your own skills, writing workshops, grant writing workshops, storytelling workshops, and so on and so on. I'm looking at the watch. I'm still on. Okay. Here you go. I'm doing fine on in terms of time. Any questions so far? Let me stop here and just ask if there's any question, any comment. So far, so good.
In the chat box about what are the specializations, but it kind of sounds like you've covered what it means to specialize. But if you wanted to kind of speak more to what specializations mean within this program.
Thank you for the question, Graham. What are the specialization? Now, in the DBA program, there is a course called 717 course. That course, in the presentation, we describe it as area of specialization. That we use that term to explain to viewers that this course, you design it with your instructor, and it's an opportunity for you to dive deep into your area of specialization. Now, when we talk about the whole program, it's a generalist program in the way that it's we don't have, let's say, well, we accept research in marketing only. We accept research in HR operation only. Management related research, it's in general, it's welcome in the program. And since we talk about applied research, that means you are tackling a wicked problem, a real life problem. I wouldn't describe that research as a disciplinary type of research. It is interdisciplinary. When you are tackling specific problem, you are actually tapping on literature from different areas, from different specialization to tackle a specific real life wicked problem, what we call the wicked problem. So to that end, I would say we don't have specialization, specific specialization. It's totally, it depends on your proposal and your research. Graham, did I answer the question?
Do we have another?
Thank you, Graham. It's an important question. I see here, here you go. I encourage, thanks, Graham, for encouraging everyone to ask questions. I see here hands. Okay, let's take one of the the colleagues who raised their hand, and then I see another question on the chat. So
Sure. So when I see people raise their hand, I have to enable your mic. So what you'll see is you'll see me a little pop up on your screen asking you to unmute. So I'm going to start in the order of the raised hands, and we'll do a few questions now, and then we'll probably do some more at the end of the session as well, just so we don't get too behind.
thank you.
But here you go, Peter.
All right, so thank you very much for the presentation, and also thank you very much, Dr. Hassan. My question would be the three residencies where we talk about the workshops. It doesn't look like more of bonding with faculty, bonding with team members and colleagues. More of the bonding is sort of coming to have some form of lectures. Does it really mean more of bonding? And also, during my MBA, I already have a specialization. I specialize on international business. So do we also have specializations in DBA also?
Thank you, Peter. I will try to answer the question, the first part of the question. I'm not exactly sure I understand it, but I think you are asking about the residency during the workshop during residency, right? The nature of workshop during residency?
Yes, I'm asking that the residency, is it more of bonding, whereby we have to bond with faculty members, we have to bond with team members, more of bonding because we're going to be on campus, where we have to interact with each other and bond more, because during the online, we might not have all the time to bond. I was just asking if there's also room for colleagues to bond, for faculty members to bond with, with students also.
Okay, thank you, Peter. So residency is a mandatory part of the program. Students are expected to attend residencies, and workshops are designed again to help students and also to help faculty. So faculty are interested in meeting students. And all these workshops supposed to help students advancing their research. So these are not, I don't describe them as soft skills kind of research. These are these carefully designed workshops to help students advancing their research. And now to the and all these residencies are on campus. During COVID, we had to pivot and go online, but now we come back to campus, on campus. Now for the specialization, of course, you can. It all depends on your research topic. So if let's say your specialization international business, that's your area, and you want to do your research in that field, that's totally fine. And you're welcome to do that. So, but where is the trick here? The trick is in your initial proposal, writing the proposal. That's a key important piece to demonstrate your understanding and your area through the proposal. And I'm going to talk a little bit about the proposal writing toward the end of this session. We have another session only for writing proposal. So with that, I hope I answered your question, Peter. Did I answer the question? Kind of. Okay. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Peter. Thank you. I see Chelsea as well. Go ahead, Chelsea.
Hi.
I'm glad.
Thank you so much for all the information. And I see that Emara has just posted in the chat, or maybe it's Tracy, the different areas of research. And so my question was related, I think, to that. And I was wondering about sort of the backgrounds of the students coming into the program, how interdisciplinary the cohorts tend to be. Are these typically folks who have an MBA, or do you have a lot of diversity in sort of the educational backgrounds or the areas of work that folks are in? And yeah, maybe.
Excellent question. Excellent question. I understand what you said. So I think the first step is have a quick look at that website that Emara, Tracy actually posted. It's Meet DBA Student. It will give you an idea about who our students are, and we're very proud of our colleagues who joined the program, and we're very proud of them. Now, in order to, I'm going to talk a little bit about this as well. In order to be eligible to start the program, you need to have a relevant master degree. Relevant means relevant to your research. So we have a colleague, for example, Nathan Banda, doing research about nurse retention in rural area of Alberta. Now, Nathan did not have, or does not have, MBA. He has master in nursing, something like this. But his research is also in nursing and management of the retention of nurses. So the way we see it, his master is relevant to his research. So you don't, yes, MBA is a generalist degree, but it doesn't always need to be MBA. Did I answer the question? Thank you. Thank you. Rob?
Thank you very much. Very interesting so far. A very high-level question. I've looked at a number of DBA programs around North America, and one of the common things you hear is that programs tend to drag on. And at Royal Roads, do you tend to get the people in and through their projects and out in 3 to 4 years, or do you find students generally start to take longer than that?
Thank you, Rob. I mean, it's a very good question. This is I'm thinking just to give you the right answer here. The truth. Yes, please go ahead.
Is it student, or I assume it might then be student dependent, but if you're linking, what I'm looking to do is link my research to advancements that my corporation is making, and this will be a thing where I want to get in and get it approved, get the research done, and get the value, and then move on. Are you comfortable with that kind of pace?
Yes, of course, we are comfortable with that pace. We do have colleagues who have like who are really have similar pace. Look, I have a very specific schedule, but also we understand that things life can get in the way, right?
Right.
We are not talking about here young student graduated from their master degree with all. I'm not talking about the age-wise. I'm talking about the experience. Students who just junior, I would say, graduated from their master and started their doctorate quick after the master. We talk about colleagues who've been in the industry for quite a long time, and normally this kind of colleagues, they do have other commitment, other things. So we allow this kind of flexibility. We understand that. Rob, yes, I mean, we do have other colleagues, for example, in the program, they have a certain schedule and they want to finish according to that particular schedule, and that is totally fine.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you, Rob.
All right, I have one more question from the chat, and then we'll keep going. And when the questions come up, keep posting them in the chat, keep asking them, and we'll get through them. So the question is, please provide more details on the choice of specializations. Is a student free to research any area of management, or does Royal Roads have specific research areas or group based on available expertise and supervision?
Okay, that's a good question. Again, let me explain this part again. There is no area of specialization, management related specialization, that we say, well, we only accept a student in these specializations. We don't have that. We are open to all management related research. Your proposal will be adjudicated. The initial proposal will be adjudicated during the admission process, and it's very important. The proposal, the initial proposal, is very important to demonstrate the quality of your research, and the student will be accepted based on that initial proposal. Now, here I wanted to highlight one point. This is also one of the key differences between Royal Road DBA and other PhD programs. In the PhD program, you don't have the luxury to say, well, I would like to do research in this area. I'm passionate about this area. Well, I mean, like Rob said, I have a specific research relevant to my corporation. This is my passion, right? This is my area of expertise. I want to do this research. I want to advance my own research. We don't, in another program, you don't have that luxury because it's again conventional PhD program. You need to work under the wing of a specific supervisor who you need to adjust your research accordingly. While here we will say, no, bring your passion with you. We want that. We want to see that. Bring your passion with you, and you have the opportunity to align your research with your passion. And that's why we don't have specialization. Hope I answered that question. Okay. Emara, let's move on to the next slide, and perhaps then we will have toward the end some time toward for the question. So we talked about the structure of the program, and we would like to have to highlight some key milestones in the program, and these milestones happening in the second year. The first year, the key milestone in the first year is completing your courses. Second year, you will assemble your dissertation supervisory committee. You will do the comprehensive exam, submit the final proposal, the initial proposal you submitted during the admission process, the final proposal you will submit it almost the second year, toward the second year, and then the dissertation defense, or what we called in Europe the viva. Here. Our students, and I saw some questions. We talk a little bit about this. Tracy put the link to meet our colleagues, and we invite one of our colleague, Neil, to talk about his experience. But generally speaking, our colleagues are working professionals who aspire to be leaders in their field or sector. They would like to do their doctorate to be leader in their field, to change their area. It's beyond, I would like to advance my career. It's beyond that. I would like to advance the practice in my industry. So it's very much about being a subject matter expert, building your currency as a subject matter expert. And working professionals who can and want to develop original, impactful research that make that change or help in changing industry practice and bridging the gap between practice and theory. Normally, our colleagues are full-time working professionals. They need to have relevant master degree, and I could explain that, relevant to the research. Our colleagues coming from all walk of lives, coming from public, private sector, university. We have a number of colleagues who are professors. Neil is a university professor, so he's doing his doctorate as a requirement for him to advance his degree, his professional ranking. We have a private consultant, lifetime researcher, advocates. So our colleague coming from all walk of life. Important here, student funding, different sources of fund. The self-funding, it's one important source, of course, and we always recommend that you are able to self-fund your own research, especially for the first year. So even if you have or you planning to get scholarship or external fund, we always recommend that you have enough fund to in the first year. Internally, we have some limited internal program funds, entrance awards, and we also have scholarship awards. Recently, we have Also additional awards, area-specific award like a climate change for those who are doing research in a climate change, or those who are doing research in ADI related area. Now, external funding opportunity, there are many external funding opportunities. I know we say many external funding opportunity. We're highlighting here two. The most common to the SHIRK and MITEX. MITEX is, I will say, we have more luck with MITEX, and we will talk a little bit more about that when we talk with Neil about MITEX and the experience with MITEX. SHIRK is always available, but SHIRK is a highly competitive. Now, regardless, again, what source of fund you are trying to access, normally getting scholarship or getting fund is a competitive process, and you will need to go through certain process, submit application, get references, and so on and so on. And during the program, the first year program, we provide specific training to how to write grants, how to access grants, what are available grants. For you right now, as you are starting the program or you're planning to start the program, I will say have a quick look at Royal Road Financial Aid website. It's a very good resource for you to learn more about available funds for the program. Yeah, so now the exciting part of this presentation, meet DBA students. So I would like to welcome Neil Cody. Neil, thank you very much for joining us today. Neil is our colleague who joined the program in 2021, right, Neil? Yeah. 2021. So I have some questions. Emara designed this question and asked me to ask Neil these questions. So I'm going to read them. But if you have more questions, please go ahead and ask him. So first question, Neil, tell us about yourself.
Right on. So welcome, everybody. My name is Neil Cody. As Hassan mentioned, I'm a prof out here on the East Coast in Dartmouth, Nova Scotia. I teach at the Nova Scotia Community College as well as Mount St. Vincent University. It focused in the business sector. I'm into entrepreneurship and technology. I live here in Dartmouth with my family, 3 kids and my wife, and just loving life and happy to be a part of the DBA program. And thanks, Hassan, for welcoming me here today.
Thank you, Neil. Thank you. It's a pleasure always having you here with us, and it's an honor having you in the program as a colleague. I'm working with you. So second question, what motivated you to go to Royal Road to get your doctorate?
Yeah, that's a great question. And, I heard a few people talk about the fact that, they've researched programs all over the place. And I did the exact same thing. Whether it was PhDs or DBAs, and, I just kept circling and circling. And it was the blended approach that, that Royal Roads took. And the more that I started talking to people about the program itself, the more heads started turning. And wait a minute, that's like pretty advanced, like that's some hardcore stuff. So it was the blended, the fact that you're going to get some of the benefits of a PhD, you're also going to get the benefits of a DBA. And I think at the end of the day, it makes you more well-rounded. I wasn't necessarily interested in just reading and then writing about what I was reading. I was looking to actually make a difference and come up with some solutions. And that's gonna this program allows me to do that, to get some hands-on activity. So yeah, it was an easy choice at the end of the day.
Now, tell us about your research. And I know your research has evolved over the last year and so, but tell us about it.
Yeah, and I think that's something probably interesting for everybody who's sitting here looking to apply. When I applied and I put my application together, and it was the big write-up that you send in, and you're so excited about it, and I was so excited to get in. But what my research was then and what it is now, it's literally like two different things. My focus is on gamification, engagement, as a teacher and a professional and someone who has worked in recruiting and training, his whole career. I'm looking for ways to, make it more fun, make it more impactful. Let's get people like more industry ready and more ready to be active members of our business community faster. And, when I first started, my application was around how do we leverage the video game industry to, sort of accomplish that. And as I went through my courses last year, the more I read within my field, the more I recognized that there was a knowledge gap. And so my question, my area of focus, it kept gnawing at me, and I couldn't address that original question until I addressed the one that I'm focused on now. So now my research is around establishing a set of principles and best practices for creating educational based game applications. So that's sort of my focus there.
Thank you, Neil. I just wanted to highlight one thing. I mean, what Neil said, he started with a specific idea, and this idea evolved and changed, and that's very important to highlight. I mean, when you submit your initial proposal, we understand this could change, and this will change, actually, not it could, it will change. This idea will change and will evolve, and we have other colleagues who actually not just tweak it or change it, maybe they change the whole topic, and that's okay. Yeah. Next question, Neil. What are the most rewarding and the most challenging part of the program?
Yeah, those are great questions. I mean, the rewarding part is seeing your own personal growth, right? Like watching your idea go from where it was a year ago to something that, like, I now have a plan. Like, if you came to me when I was applying to this thing, I was like, yeah, this is a great idea and something I'd love to tackle, but I had no sweet clue on how I would go about doing it. And, last year, as we're going through our courses, you're still sitting there struggling and you have no idea, how you're going to attack your research question. And then for me, it was towards the end of the summer into the fall, it was just like an avalanche, and it was like a snowball, and it just started growing. And then, by the time I got into towards the end of my courses, I had this full plan, and it came out of nowhere. And I was just like, oh my God, like, this is going to be awesome. So, watching your own growth and watching the growth of your idea and everything come into place, that's really rewarding. The tough part, and I got them to put imposter syndrome up there, because I mean, I felt like a fake and a fraud every single class that I went into. I was ready to quit this course, every major assignment that we had to come in. I didn't even tell people I was taking my DBA until probably towards the end of this year, my first year, because I didn't know. And, if it wasn't for Hassan and it wasn't for some of the great, profs and leaders that we have within the program that talk you off the ledge and let you know that everything's going to be okay, and that, you're going to get there. And, when you don't have faith in yourself, like they have faith in you, and that's enough to sustain you to the next one. And then when you see the results come in, it becomes more and more motivating. But like, honestly, every single class I took last year, and this is very common and I know we're going to talk about the cohort in the next question, but my colleagues too, we all felt the same way. Like, we don't belong here. We're not supposed to actually be here, but at the end of the day, you are, and that's why you were picked for the program.
Thank you, Neil. That's a very important reflection. And I think it's very useful. Everyone, when they get started, they start to think, oh, am I doing it right? Should I do it? Am I ready? I'm gonna talk well. I'm gonna be part of really talented colleagues, very strong. Am I up to that? That's very normal. That's healthy, I would say. That's normal, that's healthy, and that's okay to have these feelings. That's totally okay. The more you work in your field, the more you start to say, well, I'm expert myself. And you, when you will be selected to enter the program, be sure that we know that you will succeed in the program. We trust we're confident that those who are able to start the program, or those who are admitted to the program, that means those have the right skills to succeed in the program and to deliver in terms of research and productivity. Imposter syndrome is very common, and you could read a lot about it at the doctoral level. May I ask you another question? Not here, it's not part of this question. How did you manage? With kids, 3 kids and family, how did you manage?
Well, having a rock star for a wife doesn't hurt, but it's you're right, it's not easy. That's part of the reason why you think you're going to quit every now and again, because it is a lot of work. You don't want to undersell it. The first year you are doing a full-time job, but you're doing a full-time course load. Now it is very flexible to your schedule and you can get to it when you want. But for me, with 3 young kids between the ages of, what was it? It was 1 and 7 last year. I wasn't doing things like I was working in the evenings. So then you're going to bed and you're exhausted. So there is a lot of, there's a lot of dedication that comes with it. And I don't want to try and sell you that it's easy, because it's not. You just have to, if you want it bad enough, you're going to put the work in, and it is rewarding and it is worth it. And now that I'm on the other side of those classes, that foundation year was really important to get me to where I am. I'm incredibly, to sound as humble as possible, but I'm incredibly confident with where I am in my research right now. And I am getting ready to head into a candidacy exam here soon. And I know I'm in a good spot. I wasn't in that situation a year ago today. And, you have to get through it. And now I have a lot more flexibility with my time. And I think the first year is kind of a bit of a shock, because some of us it's been a while since we've been in school, and, getting back into the swing of things and recognizing that even though it is virtual and, you do have, it's sort of up to your own schedule, you do have to do the work in order to move forward. So I think work-life balance becomes difficult, but you need to make a plan, and having a good support system is really important. The families, I'm serious, my family, my relatives, if they weren't here to support me, it wouldn't be nearly as easy as it has been.
Thank you. In the first year, I always recommend during these courses, I recommend that you budget around 10 to 15 hours a week for study.
Yeah,
that's roughly an estimate of how many hours you need per week through courses. The first half of the first year, you will have very little control on your pace, because it's very much courses. There's a deadline, assignment, and so on. As you move to the second part of the first year, you will start to have more control on your own pace and your own progress. The second year, you will have a full control of your own progress. These are, important consideration for you. Neil, tell us about your cohort. What does your cohort look like?
Yeah, my cohort's interesting because we were the COVID cohort. We were fully online for the entire thing, so we didn't have that first residency where we all got together. This picture here is from was it March or February? It was from this year. We got together for the very first time, but the cohort was so great. You establish a chat group, you meet virtually in that orientation session, and we did our residency online, and you meet, you connect, you set up a WhatsApp group or a Signal group, and you just start chatting back and forth, and it really becomes it's a support group, really. If you look at that picture, you couldn't, man, there are so many different topics being studied within that picture. It is just crazy. If you go down and you look at that website they shared with you about all of our concentrations, a lot of us, there's a couple of us that maybe we have a little bit of a crossover, but for the most part, completely different areas, but we're all going through the exact same experience, and no one understands the experience like your colleagues. So to be able to even just have people to vent to or reach out to that know what you're going through, it's been completely invaluable, and they've been great. We talk constantly. They become like your own little family, and you know, again, I had not met these people in person until this year, but when we met, it was like we'd known each other forever. And it was, and I know that might sound cheesy or campy, but it really was. And it was because that first year is so hard to get through to it when you were by yourself and you hadn't had the residency. Because I do think the residencies are really valuable. You know, it was just so great to get together and meet everybody.
Yeah, thank you very much. Neil, a question about the funding, and you started the program without any fund. You were self-funded, and then you get your fund. This is normally a very important topic for those who considering the program, looking at the fee and said, oh my God, it's a lot of money, how can I manage it? Over to you, Neil. Explain to everyone your experience getting fund.
Yeah, part of the reason why I didn't tell anybody I was taking the DBA for a long time was because I was 1 foot in, 1 foot out because of the funding. I totally get it. I was self-funded. You know, I went to got the student loans. But when we were in our very first residency, we had a session on my tax, and while they were going through the presentation on my tax, I was on the computer emailing the local my tax representative, struck up a conversation with her. We started going back and forth, telling her about my area of interest. She ended up connecting me with a few businesses that were kind of in the same industry. I had 3 different conversations, and one of the businesses, we really kind of struck a chord and developed a relationship. And we ended up putting together a My Tax project and submitting it towards the end of my first year. And that's why Hassan said, you know, making sure that first year, like you have that covered, because there's the odd scholarship you might be able to get, but really you are self-funding that first year. But I was successful in getting a My Tax project funded for the full 8 terms. So I have a project with a company here in Nova Scotia, and we're going to go over the next until I think the end of 2023, and we're working together, and it's going to fully pay for my my doctorate and then some. So it actually, I think it's like 160 grand is what we got approved for. So it's it went from being like the most stressful thing in the world to when you get that, you just feel like you're on cloud 9, and it's out there and it's available. And, you know, it took work on my part. Like that was the thing, you know, you're not going to sit back and people aren't going to hand you 160 grand. It was, you know, pounding the pavement and networking and making these connections, but there's a lot of money out there. And especially when you're coming out of, you know, something like COVID and people are looking to rebound, and there's a lot of support financially out there to help businesses, you know, sort of get started again. Yeah, if you can take advantage of that, that'd be awesome.
And your final advice, one advice for those who are considering the DBA program.
It's totally worth it. I mean, I think at this point, you know, having the hindsight of getting the first year past me, I'm so glad. It's one of the best decisions I ever made. You could not, and Hassan did not pay me for this, and yes, full disclosure, he is one of my committee members, but you know, he has helped all of us in the whole cohort talks about it all the time. You know, he will get you through your darkest days, but he's also your biggest cheerleader. The teachers, the faculty, they're here to support you. It's so worth it. We're all going to get there at the end of the day. They're so flexible, but they still hold you to task. So, I mean, we couldn't do it without them. And it's you will not come to a program, I guarantee you, that has a better faculty system set up in place.
Thank you, Neil. It's always a pleasure working with you, and we're very proud of your research. I want to talk more, but Emara told us to give her 10 minutes. Now we're only 3 minutes remaining.
Sorry.
Sorry, Emara. That's when you give academics the freedom to speak. We'll never.
I love hearing from students and hearing firsthand perspective, and I think everybody in the room agrees with that. Hearing from you, Neil, and Hassan, having that conversation. Everything else that I'm going to talk about after this is all available on the website. So if I don't get through it all, the information is there. But I think this is valuable. I'm glad we spent the time on this. So I am going to dive into a few kind of how to apply things. So I'm going to jump through here. And I love that photo. And we do have all that information. I popped a link in the chat about the different cohorts, and you can read more about everybody that's part of the cohort. So how to apply, as I mentioned, all on the website. And you can always reach out to us if you have questions about your eligibility. So as we've mentioned, a relevant master's degree from a recognized university, and normally a minimum of 7 years of relevant full-time work experience, with 5 years at management level and a demonstration of increasing levels of responsibility. And application and admission into the DBA program is competitive. So I wanted to mention that as well. And so some key dates for this upcoming intake. We have our application deadline being September 5th, 2022. And that is for the January 2nd, 2023 intake, so this January. And we keep our website up to date with all the upcoming application deadlines and intakes, so have a look there on the DBA program page. And how to apply, I really recommend, I was saying, like, I was joking that it was on the website, but it really is. And that's the best way to apply, is to go to the website and to look at all the information that you need to submit and follow it like a checklist, follow it like a project, submit your official transcripts, you have your detailed resume, initial proposal. And for the initial proposal, I highly recommend that everybody attends next week's workshop. It's one of my favorite webinars to host. We really dive into what does that mean to create an initial proposal, and we'll go through it and actually talk about your proposal too. So I popped that link in the chat, and I hope to see everybody there. We do record the first half of that webinar, but not the second, because the second one is where we're really diving into your specific proposal, and we don't want that recorded, because we want to have the freedom of being able to chat about it and not having it recorded for later. And you're also going to have 3 letters of reference and potentially a writing sample and interview. And to apply, it's really easy. You just go onto the website and start your application with how to apply. And we are here to support you. So if you have any questions along the way, don't hesitate to reach out to us. We have Tracy here. We have our Alana in our international team to support you through this whole process. And they can always connect you with Hassan too if you have specific questions about the program. So don't hesitate to reach out. We are here to help you. And here is the contact information. If you're a Canadian student, you want to reach out to learn.more@royalroads.ca. And if you're coming internationally, you want to reach out to learn.more.international@royalroads.ca. And this is the upcoming workshop. I'll pop the link in the chat, so it's just really easy to register. I really hope to see you there. It's next Thursday, June 9th at 9:30 a.m. Pacific time. And now, I know we said we'd leave a bit of time at the end for questions. I'm okay to stick on for a few more minutes. I know people might have to leave, so we are recording. So if you have to pop out, we will record and send it out to everybody so you can have the questions. And now, Hassan and Neil, if you have to run, I know you have a very busy day. Thank you so much, Neil, for joining us. Really appreciate it. Okay, Hassan, let's get to some of those questions. I think the first one that I saw come up was, please kindly provide more clarity on the 25-week self-directed study content of the program.
Thank you. So this is the self-directed study course. It's a course that you're going to work with an instructor. That instructor will be ideally will be your principal supervisor. The course consists of 3 main assignments. The first assignment is to decide on a list of readings that you will dive into. The list of reading consists normally from 30 peer-reviewed articles and 1 or 2 books. You will work with your instructor to define this list of reading, and then you will write a report about that. Very much like as a little mini literature review, work 1-to-1 with your supervisor. The goal of the course is to situate your research within existing literature.
Okay.
Does that answer the question?
Let's see. I'll monitor the chat to make sure you get an answer that answered the question. And if it didn't, please just elaborate on more of what you're hoping to learn around that question. So the next question we have is, an MBA with Rome Business School, Italy, acceptable to Royal Roads University? And I'm not sure, Hassan, if you can speak directly to that, or if
I don't know. I mean, I would say from the name, it seems like as a degree seems like acceptable, but it's not me who will decide that. Normally, it is the admission team will make sure that the degree is from an acceptable school or university. So I would recommend that you connect with our colleagues in the admission team to decide on the degree itself. I mean, Rome Business School, and it seems like I haven't been there, but so it seems like an acceptable to me. But the final answer will be from our colleagues in the admission team.
Awesome, thank you, Hassan. So the next question is, are international students allowed to apply for the DBA? Any specific requirements?
Thank you. We do have international students in the DBA program. So they are allowed. The answer is yes, they are allowed. They are welcome, not just allowed. They are welcome to apply. There are no specific requirements in addition to the standard requirements.
All right, and then we have another question here. Do you offer automatic funding on acceptance?
No, we don't have automatic funding on acceptance. All funding opportunities are competitive in the way that you need to work toward these funding opportunities, not automatic. You need to submit application, and every funding opportunity will have a different process, generally speaking, and you need to go through this. So, but I could say, I always say this, to the best of my experience, those who are really keen to get funded, they eventually end up getting funded. And when I say keen, mean that they really try and work hard, apply to different funding opportunities, and eventually they get funded.
Thank you. So another question is, and I don't know if you know this off the top of your head, what is the estimate of the tuition fees? And Tracy, if you could pop a link in the chat around that as well, but I don't know if you know that off the top of your head.
So I don't know exactly. I think there's a payment schedule that this is my understanding. There's a payment schedule. Student can get a copy of that payment schedule. So the best source is to connect with our colleagues in the admission team or Roma Tracy. I'm sure she will be able to address this question.
And I have one more question about suitability, and I'll ask it. And I also recommend to the person who direct messaged me this question, reach out to enrollment as well, because they're really great with helping eligibility. But the question is, I think one of the requirements is to have management experience. I had that experience back home for more than 5 years. However, currently now in Canada, I'm a financial analyst with an MBA. Having said that, could I be accepted for the DBA program?
So I wouldn't comment on specific case right now. I would say in general, we're expecting a management level experience, and we will certainly look at the CV holistically, the experience holistically. It doesn't necessarily need to be in the last 2 years or the last 1 year or the last 5 years. But we would like to see some kind of a progression. We had a situation, to be more specific, where student had or a colleague actually had a situation where he had some management experience, but then that individual decided to stop working for some reason, and for personal reason. So his management experience wasn't like in the last 5 years. So we had that situation, but I can't really comment on specific case. I would like to see the whole of picture and all other details.
Okay, I have 2 questions that I'm going to combine into one, and then we're going to wrap it up. But I also want to make sure everybody knows, connect with us if you have any further questions. So the question that I have is, what are the requirements for progressing from year to year for the program, as well as what is the typical number of students in a cohort?
Thank you. So requirement to advance from 1 year to a second year. I mean, we don't have, we don't see it like this. I guess it's not that there's an end of the year, a ceremony for the end of the year, and we could start with the second year. We don't have that. It's like a different milestones as it's described, and the first milestones is completing your coursework. And every course then will become another milestone, and you complete each course by each course. And then the second year you have another milestones as we described. You have the doctoral committee, formation of doctoral committee, the candidacy exam, the proposal stage. And normally this is very much then student decision with his or her committee to decide when to do this, when the student or the colleague is ready to move to the next milestone. I would describe it next year. So hope I answered that part. Now, in terms of the cohort size, I would say the maximum number is 18. We never had 18. Normally we have between 15 to 16. I mean, the picture you saw counted 17, including myself and my colleague, the coordinator, the program coordinator, Kim Patush, who's fantastic person. You're gonna meet her if you join the program. So I mean, counting us in the picture, the cohort size is supposed to be actually 16. We're missing one colleague from the picture as well. Yeah.
Wonderful.
Hopefully I
Thank
answered
you.
the question. Yeah, I see a question here from actually maybe not. It's okay. Well, the length of the DBA program, as we mentioned, it's between we'll say 4 to 7 years. That is the 4 to 7 years. Yeah.
Wonderful. I have confirmation that we answered some of the questions that were asked earlier, so that is really good to see. Thank you everyone for all of your questions and engagement in the chat and asking them verbally. It's been really great to have this conversation with all of you. Thank you for joining us for today's webinar. And thank you, Hassan and Neil. It was great to learn from both of you. And I hope everybody has a wonderful rest of their day. I'll process this recording and send it out to everybody in the next 24 hours.
Thank you, Emara. Thank you very much. Thank you, Neil. Thank everyone for joining us. I wanted to say just it's a pleasure meeting you. We understand this is not an easy decision. So reach out if you have a question. We are here to help you making the decision, the right decision. Thank you.